Hungry Games! This isn't the kind of video I usually do. This is about Hunger Games. Kind of review, kind of just my thoughts. I pulled out some questions online and I'm going to answer them. My audience of probably 5 people are going to hate this because I know at least like 3 of them hate Hunger Games or don't like them. So just tune off, go watch my other videos, go watch other videos on YouTube. I don't care, but I'm doing this for me. So I've been obsessed with Hunger Games. Obsessed. Because they're awesome. Because they make me think. And so I was obsessed. And I couldn't put the book down once I opened it. I read the first one on Friday, second one on Saturday, and third one throughout the night between Saturday and Sunday. And I was up for 23 hours. I read each book for 10 hours, had a 3-hour break in the middle, and that was it. I was so sleep deprived when I finished the book, so I probably have to at some point read it again because some of it just went like right over my head. So I have some questions here, and I'm going to be talking about the whole trilogy, just not just the first book, even though these questions were pulled out of a discussion from or about the first book. So there are about 18 questions, and I'm going to see how many I can answer. And if I just skip, I just skip, but we'll see. So, why do I think that The Hunger Games is a bestseller? What about the series is what appeals to so many people? I think it's the bestseller by chance, pretty much. It makes you think, which is something we really want. And it's pretty much like catching fire. When someone likes it and they put it forward, it's by chance. There are so many good books out there and so many of them don't make it this big, but The Hunger Games is exceptionally good. You can't put it down once you start it. But then again, I know people who hate it to the bone. So why? I would say luck, 70% luck and 30% really good storytelling. And marketing, of course. We can't forget marketing and big names speaking for it, like the Twilight freaking writer, even though one reason I almost did not read this was because there was Stephenie Meyer's name on the book cover, and I was like, no, not her, because she's an idiot. I'm sorry, all you Twilighters. Which character in The Hunger Games do you relate to and why? Who is your favorite character? My favorite character at the start was Peeta. But now, as I've gone through the books again, skipping some parts and going through some stuff that I kind of glossed over the first time, I would say Finnick, because Finnick is just interesting, and I think somehow a character is made more memorable when they die. But yeah, Finnick is my favorite. Who I relate to most is probably Katniss. Katniss or Peeta, or a mixture of those two. Does a tribute ever really win the Hunger Games? Why or why not? Nope. That's my simple answer. No, they don't. There is no winning the Hunger Games because what you give up to win is way more and it'll eat you up. Or that's basically, well, this is a two-way street because I think maybe the careers, as they've trained to do it, don't take it as harshly. But at least for like Peeta, Finnick, Katniss, probably P.T. and Wires as well, Annie, all of these people, I think the price they had to pay to win from their self, from their personality, from their mind, how it fractured them, the nightmares that come, I think that is a price none of them want to pay. Also, to win, I kind of feel like you'd have to... This is another point for the careers because they volunteer. They could feel it as winning, but the people who are forced to do it, how can you win when you don't even want to compete? It's a very tough matter. They lose too much, basically. Was it wrong for Katniss to act like she was in love with Peeta if she wasn't sure of her true feelings? Why not? I don't think so, because it was an ordinary situation and she was doing it to save both of their lives. Also, I think she was in love with him from the very start. Probably not from the very start, as in when the reaping happened, but after the games, I think she just has too many walls up and too many trust issues to actually ever even consider it, because she doesn't want to have kids or family or to be in love, because she doesn't want to hurt anyone. And for that, I think it wasn't really wrong, per se. Because if she hadn't done it, then she would have never found out. Then he would have never found out. Then they would have never had any kind of chance. Probably. I don't know. Bottom line is that I don't think that it was wrong. When is violence entertainment? When is violence just violence? Violence is always just violence. Violence is not entertaining. Just get that in your heads. It is not entertaining. Not even staged fighting. No. How does our family background, our class, or our occupation change the way we see the world? I think the poorer you are, the less you have, the less privileged you are, the more justice you see, or can see, or learn. You can see this from Gale's point of view. It doesn't always work that way. He has become vengeful. But I think that the poor and... well, no, not the poor necessarily, but I think that the politicians and the people in power should have the minimum wage, just what you can scrape off by with comfortably, and then the people who do the baddest, worstest, shittiest jobs on this planet should have the most money, because that's just how I think it should go. Obviously, it's never going to be like that, because politicians are sneaky bastards and they will get everything they want. What is your favourite reality television show? None. Why? Because I don't watch any. How much of the show do you think actually is reality? I do watch Big Brother sometimes, and I think it's not reality when they toss things in there. If you put a camera in a house where people were, well, shaytards. There we go, shaytards from YouTube. It's not per se a reality show, but it's a daily vlog of a family, so kind of reality. But how much of that is reality when they put the cameras off? If they film a half an hour out of a day, there's still 23.5 hours to do all kinds of shit that we never see. But I do think Shay and Shay and Colette and the kids are very realistic, and I think they don't put on a show that much. But how much of it is Katniss style acting for the audience? I think Katniss is acting the love thing for the audience. I think she does get feelings or build up, grow feelings for Peeta at some point, but a lot of it is for the audience. Not so much for the audience, but for Haymitch to send signals for her. Or him, sorry. Haymitch is the guy. Are you Team Peeta or Team Gale? Sorry, we just had to ask. Peeta all the way. I was Team Gale for like half of the first book, but then I jumped ship and I've been on board ever since. I actually don't like Gale at all as a character. What was the most emotional moment in the book, and which part was hardest to read? When Peeta is rescued and he has been hijacked and doesn't remember Katniss. All of that true to the end. From that moment to the end, that was the hardest to read, because Peeta was different, because he had been lost, because Katniss was so sad, even more so than the first part of the book, and that was just really hard. The emotional part of it was that too, and the ending, even as he comes back to her in a sense and they are supposedly happy, it doesn't make up for it. It's just hard because you realize at that point, going back to the previous question of do they ever win the games? No, you never win the games. You never win the war when you are fighting it in the front lines, because you always lose way more than you might gain, because you lose, well, at least these two lost so much. So it's just, that was really emotional and hard. I was also very sleep deprived, so that added to the problem. Why do I think the fire is appropriate symbol for Katniss? Because Katniss would burn through anything to save what she loves. She would burn through anything to save Prim, which is just sad because at the end she just can't. How does Katniss's early encounter with Peeta affect their relationship after they've chosen as tributes? I think it makes both of them want to protect each other. And that's the only effect there is, that Katniss owes him. So, because she wants to pay her depth, when she gets the chance, she wants to protect him. Whereas he's been in love with her forever, so obviously that's a given. Did your perception of Peeta change over the course of the Hunger Games? Yes, it did. So many times. First I thought he was weak, then I thought he was kind of witty and smart, then I thought he was charming, then I thought he was a cruel, horrible traitor for going with the careers, then I thought he was the most romantic person ever, the most righteous person ever, and then I just was so mad at Katniss because she had to lie to him, because I hated that he had to get hurt. I just love Peeta, that's the bottom line. How does the fact that the tributes are always on camera affect their behaviour from the time they're chosen? Does it make it easier or harder for them to accept their fate? Probably harder. This also, I think, is dependent on if you're a career or not. They try to please probably more than they would if they would just be thrown in an arena to fight to death because they're on camera. But at some points I feel like she doesn't even realize that she is on camera. Why does Katniss ignore Haymitch's advice to head directly away from the cornucopia? Did she do the right thing for the equipment? I think she did the right thing to catching the equipment, but I think she shouldn't have gone for the bow. I think she should have gone for the equipment and just left. But I think it was because she has so much trust issues and so many walls built up, so she, especially after Peeta shook his head that no, don't go for it, it was just too annoying. She wanted to see what will happen. She's too curious and too untrusting at the same time. It's not a good combination. Why does Peeta join the career tributes in the beginning of the game? Well, isn't this obvious? Because he wants to help Katniss, and to help Katniss is to get all those careers off the game. So if he can learn any kind of secrets or help Katniss escape from them, why the hell not? And why do they accept him is because they obviously think that he can help them get Katniss, because Katniss is she has the highest points and she's just very, I think they see her as a threat. What did you think of the fact that they changed the rules partway to allow two winners? That was predictable as hell. There was no way that they wouldn't play the love story when this is a reality show. Do you think the glamorization of the games and the treatments of its stars before they are sent off to die is a reflection of anything in our modern society? Yes. Popular culture, famous people, tabloids, media. We build up a person, we build up a celebrity to be something to be admired, just to be able to tear them down